This is a completely different approach to how you manage power within a system.
Yes.
Because as opposed to the PMIC being a peripheral, understanding where the power is coming from, when the power comes on, when the power
Yes.
comes off, yours is actually sitting in the middle.
Yes.
And it's doing the power management between the
Yes.
host and the sensor.
Yes, this is a huge difference between
Right.
a standalone, a normal PMIC and what we do.
Right. Hello, ipXers. We are here with William.
So yeah, I'm William, I'm CTO at NanoPower. We are here demonstrating how we can help developers increase their power efficiency on a system of sensors that needs to be working on battery powered, the battery power mode. So we have a kind of a standalone power management integrated circuit, which operates like a man in the middle between the host and the sensors. So we receive instructions or a type of a recipe of how the system should be managed. So, and then the host hands over the control of the system to our device, and we will manage operation of the sensors. So we are able to wake them up, power cycle them, shut them down, and always measuring the outputs in a really low power mode. So we run around 90 nanowatts, the whole system, and still checking the sensors, looking at thresholds and comparing values between different sensors. So we are a kind of a companion managing the whole ecosystem of sensors and only waking up the host when the designer or the product owner needs it to wake up and send data out to the platform or via wired or whatever. So we enable a maintenance-free system to operate. So we can increase battery lifetime 10, 100 times because we are able to manage with a higher efficiency compared to normal MCUs.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I'm a design engineer, what do I call that part from NanoPower? If I'm going to look you up and find out what that is, what do I go looking for in order to understand how you do that? What's the part that I go looking for?
Our device is a kind of we can call it a standalone PMIC. So it's a device that can power up other devices and be autonomous in the way it configures such devices. So we get instructions. We have a memory area where we keep store operation configurations, and we are able to load these configurations into the sensors without waking up the host. So we are kind of an autonomous standalone PMIC. So the architecture is a master-slave architecture. So we are seen from the host as a slave, as a device. When we shut down the host and we we are handed over control, we behave as a master. So and we have all the ability. We know from the host instructions how to handle and manage the sensors as a master. So we act on the sensors as if we're a master.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I'm an embedded design engineer, I understand the concept of PMICs already.
Yeah.
I understand. So I understand the difference of how if we're going to call yours a PMIC, how it sits in between the host and the sensors, and then it controls the power. So how is that different from what a PMIC is doing? How would you say to a design engineer the difference between what I do and what a standalone PMIC does is this?
Yeah, it's a completely different architecture because a standard PMIC, you set the operation mode, like you set the output voltages. Okay, you set, for instance, current limitations where you will want to avoid something to break up. So we have a protection there. So, but this is that, it's it.
So almost like in that scenario, a PMIC almost is like a peripheral to the system.
Yes. And
whereas yours is actually sitting inside the system, between the host and the sensor.
And it behaves by itself.
Yes.
So our device.
So this is actually a completely different, just for the people that don't know you.
Yeah.
This is a completely different approach to how you manage power within a system.
Yes.
Because as opposed to the PMIC being a peripheral, understanding where the power is coming from, when the power comes on, when the power comes off, Yours is actually sitting in the middle.
Yes.
And it's doing the power management between the
Yes.
host and the sensor.
Yes, we do two things. We do not only enable or change the power supply to the sensors, but we also change its behavior. So we are not limited into only having an output voltage or a current limitation. We are able to set, reset power cycle, change behavior during the process. For instance, we are able to change the behavior of a light sensor, for instance, to operate in a frequency of whatever need during the day, work time, and we can completely shut it off at night, for instance, in an office, because you don't need to measure light, you don't need to control light because no one is there. So a normal PMIC, if you set it to operate on, it will never go off if the host doesn't shut it off.
Yep.
But we are able to do this. We can change how periodic the sensor is working, if it's working at all. If you don't need it because it's night, you don't need to put light or whatever. So we change not only the power, but also the behavior. This is a huge difference between a standalone, a normal PMIC and what we do.
Right. And how does that, do you pre-program that? Do you pre-program that to do that? Or is that something that it does intuitively within the system as it understands whether it's drawing power? Let's say the sensor's drawing power. How does that work?
Yeah, so we have several blocks of memory, not several blocks of memory. We have a memory which is shared a little part for each sensor, so we can configure independently the behavior of each sensor. And this is a kind of a rule set that the host sets in the beginning.
Right.
Yeah, so the host sets a rule set, a behavior, how we should behave in the system, and then when the host goes off, this behavior can change over time. So the host can set, the engineer can set, okay, you wake up this a sensor A this time, this long for this period, and after other period you change behavior. So we hold these instructions all the time till the host wakes up again. We wake up the host, and it reprograms our device to maybe change behavior again.
Right.
So it's like we run from a memory, and we can be always be changing the operation mode. So
right.
Yeah.
So without being cliches, it's putting management into PMICs.
Yes.
Real management.
Yes.
Right. Good.
That's the idea.
Yeah. So what do you have new and Embedded World 2025?
Yeah. So in the previous version, generation 0, we were not able to manage all types of sensors because we had to fix some issues on the first mass production, full wafer production, and we were not able to manage devices that needed to have a higher volume of data to be controlled, like SPI sensors, where you need some bias to be set, or you need to have some special configurations. And in Gen 1, in the one we are showing in Embedded World 25, we already had this fixed. It's a second generation, Gen 1, which is able to do this more complex configuration on SPI sensors. And we are running a demonstrator with, for instance, at the time of flight sensor from TDK we are partnering with.
Yep.
And we are able to run this system below 15 microamps, which is a huge step forward to improve power efficiency.
That's more or less nothing then.
Yeah, it's almost nothing. So they tried in the past with other solutions to enable their ecosystem of sensors, which they use also a carrot charge and ceramic multi-layer battery, which they were not able to run this fully on harvested energy. And this time, with our new generation of our device, we are able to run the whole system of sensors, which we are demonstrating here, with their carrot charge, which are 100 microamp batteries. So it's really a huge step towards improving the efficiency of more complex sensors, and we added this this time, so it's working really well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So do you see for the future this greater capability to just continue to add sensors that you can manage, continue to add sensors where you bring the power lower and lower and lower and lower, so that you end up with a whole ecosystem of sensors where design engineers who are watching these videos will understand, for every single one of them, however much power they're taking something, and you can see a future where your device is sitting in between, managing them, putting management into PMIC, Maybe that's something that we should coin as a phrase.
Yeah.
And then you're going to continue a portfolio of management where you have an array of all the sensors that you can manage in the system.
We are looking at, of course, decreasing power. But we already are maybe on the limits of power consumption in the minimum. What we will be adding is, with the same power, we will be looking at adding more features. So we are now, our first goal was managing what we intended to do in the beginning of this version, was managing sensors. And now we find that we need to manage more around the sensors, because the full system, if you look at a battery operated, a handheld device or a portable or a long-term remote device, more and more they are using harvested energy to work. So what we are doing now, we are increasing our capabilities to manage such peripherals. So we improve the harvesting parts, we improve the charging of the different cells in the device. So sometimes you have systems with different chemistries. So you have a battery, you have a supercap, you have an organic cap. So, and we are now improving the way you manage all those different storage elements, so they are more efficient. So you use one chemistry when it's needed, you change chemistry when you need a little bit spike of power, and we are able to optimize and not charge all of them because some of them leak more than the others. So now we are looking at improving all this storage.
So that's a very analog, nuanced scenario, isn't it? Where you're understanding all of those things, because that's not a digital binary thing.
No,
there's a lot of subtlety in there. In terms of doing that.
But you need always to manage it in a digital way, you need to control it. You need to have a logical mode to optimize it. So you need to follow some rules. And by experience, when we saw that all the sensors were really working in the best possible way to decrease power consumption, we saw that it's not, we cannot take only care of the sensors, but the system around it, the energy storage, how the energy is stored, how you harvest. The whole system has a lot of losses. So because maybe when it was initially designed, like the harvesting part and the chemistry, they were looking at a specific use case. But if you want to be agnostic, and we are agnostic, we need to improve this so the whole ecosystem becomes agnostic. So if we are trying to change how agnostic other devices are, so they become agnostic. And it's a don't care. The application will always fit because we will put it to fit. You know, this is the goal.
So I'm a design engineer. I'm starting a project today. I've got lots of sensors. I've got a power source, whether it's a battery, whether it's energy harvesting, whatever it is. But I know that that's a system that's going to need flexibility. It's going to need nuance, because there'll be times when I've got power coming from different places. I've got sensors turning on and off at different times. Your chip sits in the middle between the host and the sensors and the power source. So I'm thinking, I need to evaluate that. I need to understand that. So what's the process by which they can come to you and gain some sort of evaluation environment, so that they can see this in real action?
So we have now at the end of March, we'll be receiving this latest version, the Gen 1 evaluation kits, which is over here. We already have some we are using internally. But we are producing, we will be receiving the latest ones end of March. We will be able to ship beginning of April, the evaluation. We developed a GUI where the engineer can, without doing any code, configure the device in an easy way, like with dragging boxes and drop-down menus and so on. It's an intuitive graphical interface. So you are able to, without doing any code, live, you can program the SDK, use your sensors in the different ports we have, because we have a PMOD, I2C, and SPI.
So when's that going to be available?
Beginning of April.
Right. So IPXs. We've told you all about this technology. We've told you, exemplified how NanoPower have this device that sits in between the host and the slave. Sounds very Roman to me.
Yeah.
And anyway, there you go. We looked at how you manage the sensors, how you're intuitive about that, how there's flexibility within that, within the sensors and where the power comes from. What we'd really love to do next is to actually open that box up on that SDK and do a video so we can actually do it interactively as soon as that SDK becomes available, and show how you design this GUI, how you can connect with the sensors and understand how that device interacts. So that's what we'll do next with you, William.
Yeah, thank you.